What's going on, guys? It's your boy Andy Matrix. So, I haven't talked about Sony in a while. And do you guys remember? Because I've had this YouTube channel since like late 2020. And look, I've talked about how Sony has been abandoning Japan. Sony moved to California, or rather, California. But seriously, Sony has been abandoning Japan, and their excuse is, oh, well, Japan is a great nation. And it's true. It's true. Japan is a great nation. People are getting older over there. I get it. But they're giving up in Japan for United States, for U.S. And you guys already know what's happening here in the U.S. And they even sold, right? They even sold all of their Western intellectual properties, Tomb Raider, Deus Ex. Right? They sold those properties. And still, this was sometime last year, late last year in 2022. I think it was during the summer. And still, they were like, yeah, the American market. But now they seem to be dialing it back. They're dialing it back. And it looks like they're going to be getting back into the Japanese market after abandoning it for like a couple of years.
That's just wrong.
Right. Now, guys, before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell for future notifications. I talk about anime, manga, video games, geek culture, Japanese culture. If you're into any of that stuff, make sure to subscribe. Now with the show. Okay, so here, make use of that concept. Sony is abandoning Japan in favor of the U.S. for the PS5. Yeah, so, for years now, Sony just has been making the Western market a priority. But then I think it was last year sometime they realized, hey, we really suck at this. Let's go back to making Japanese games. Right, and then here at Game Ball says, it's official. Sony seems to be over Japan. Here's what that could mean for the future of PlayStation. This was back in 2021. This was back in 2021, guys. Keep that in mind. And then here again, 2021 says, yes, PlayStation is sidelining Japan, and it's time to accept that and stop making excuses. And, or is it? And now, if you go to pushsquare.com, Sony is saying, Jim Ryan, the head of PlayStation, of Sony, says Japanese market is still very important to Sony. Yeah, okay. Right? So here at Sankaku Complex, it says Sony Interactive Entertainment reaffirms commitment to Japanese games. All of a sudden, yeah, Japanese games are important. Do you guys remember that time where like they actually denied an RPG game developer in Japan? Like this was actually last year. I broke the news, right? And I think the reason why they're doing this is because they see success. They see like this big success in Final Fantasy 16. I think this is one of the many reasons, right? I think this is one of the many reasons. And I think what they're like, I'm putting myself in their shoes, right? I'm gonna put myself in their shoes, and I'm thinking, with this, Final Fantasy 16 is gonna be success, no doubt about it. I mean, I look at it the way the game is. It's got that Japanese flair to it, with some Western style peppered into it. It's got the right balance. This game is going to sell by the it could reach 10 million. It could reach 20 million copies like God of War. Probably. Maybe, right? It's going to sell a lot of copies. It's going to be way better than Final Fantasy 15, with the boy band and all that. So they're probably thinking Final Fantasy 16 is going to be very successful, and other developers, other gaming companies are going to copy. They're going to start copying this type of RPG. This is going to be like one of the new faces of Japanese RPG games. And a lot of other companies are going to imitate Final Fantasy 16. Its storytelling style and its gameplay style, right? They're going to imitate it. So they're thinking, hey, if more companies start making RPG games, JRPG games like Final Fantasy 16, then things could really change for the genre. Now let's go ahead and continue. So Jim Ryan's the head of Sony. They asked him a couple of questions, asking how much weight does the Japanese market carry for the PlayStation 5 globally, and then he starts saying, yeah, it's still an important market. Now they're changing their mind. Now they are actually changing their mind about the Japanese market, right? Another question was, amidst your strategy for PS5, what have you focused on in particular aimed towards Japan? And he's saying that they released Elden Ring, Resident Evil, Monster Hunter Rise, Wild Hearts, right? They released a lot of these, a lot of the Western games. They're releasing them in Japan, right? Because there's still people, and also PC gaming is on the rise with the with the Steam Deck. The Valve Steam Deck has become popular in Japan. But also they're facing competition in Japan because, hold on. The Xbox, as of February 13 of this year, 2023, the Xbox, the most recent Xbox console, has actually sold about almost 400,000 copies in Japan. Now, 400,000 copies is really not a lot. That's not a lot of copies, right? It's not even a million, but it's way more than before because the Xbox in Japan, it never sold more than 20,000 copies. That's sad. That is really sad, right? And now it's reached almost half a million copies. So I see the Xbox really growing in Japan in the future. Maybe it's not going to reach the same level as Nintendo, but definitely in Japan, it'll reach a decent level of success. And also, the PlayStation 5 in Japan, it's not as popular as the other consoles. I mean, sure, if you go to Push Square, it says the PlayStation 5 has sold 3 million copies in Japan as of this year, 2023, as of this time in 2023, right? But here's the thing. I got a chart. It says video game charts, right? So if we take a look at this chart right here, I'm going to try to zoom in. So look at this chart right here, right? So the red line is the PlayStation 3. The orange line is the PlayStation 4. And the blue line is the PlayStation 5, which is all the way down here. So the PlayStation 5 is at 3 million units, right? 3 million units. The PlayStation 4 is all the way up to almost 10 million units. So in other words, the PlayStation 4 sold 10 million units in Japan. PlayStation sold 3 million. And the PlayStation 3 sold over 10 million copies in Japan. So the PlayStation 5 is the least popular console in Japan, guys. The least popular console. Honestly, the Nintendo Switch is the most popular console in Japan thus far. Nintendo has been doing it's just absolutely amazing in its homeland. So I think also is that another reason is that they're starting to see that the Japanese people themselves have been abandoning Sony, abandoning the PlayStation, and just giving the middle finger and saying, hey, you guys have been changing too much, so screw you. Go ahead and chase the West. We're gonna stay here with Nintendo in our consoles, in our computer games, right? That's probably what they're saying. Because I've covered this before. The Japanese people, they're just giving the middle finger. They're giving the middle finger to Sony. A lot of them. Look at the chart. Look at the chart. I mean, the PlayStation 5, 3 million, as opposed to 10, almost 11 million copies on the PS4, PS3. That's embarrassing. Wow, man. But anyways, whatever your thoughts are, comment below, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for future notifications. It's your boy Andy Matrix. Thank you for watching and listening. Godspeed, baby. See you later.